basically everything with only a 14% approval rating. A recent poll compared Congress to some pretty dislikable things. We've got Brussels sprouts, but actually I kind of like Brussels sprouts. Used car salesmen, okay. Replacement refs, cockroaches, and even Donald Trump, all more popular than Congress. It seems that Congress has lots of work to do if cockroaches are edging them out in popularity right now. So with that 14% approval rating, the 113th Congress is not starting out on the right foot with the American people. But does that mean that they'll be ineffective? Joining me now from Washington, rejoining us is Manu Raju, senior congressional reporter for Politico, and Meredith Shiner, congressional reporter for Roll Call. Manu, 14% approval rating. We've seen it kind of, if you will, skip at the bottom now throughout the last year. Is the 113th going to be more popular? They're going to replace 90 members in both the House and the Senate.
I don't think so.
No hope for that. You laugh.
No. Look, this is a Congress that's going to have to resolve more crises. This era of congressional politics really has been defined about lurching from crisis to crisis and narrowly averting those crises. This is coming up again in February when it's going to be time to raise the nation's debt ceiling, and there's no clear path in doing that at this point. It's going to happen in March when they got to extend government funding, and will the government shut down if they don't? These budget battles are going to continue to define Congress, and there's really no way out. So if Congress can't resolve a lot of these issues, you could probably bet that approval rating will go even lower if that's possible.
It is possible. The numbers, as we were looking at it just a moment ago there, Manu and Meredith, hit in the 10% range not too long ago. The question is, will they go single digit? Meredith, you know, on ABC this week, Senator Joe Manchin had some things to say about getting things done in both chambers. Listen to this and I'll get your reaction.
In the Senate, and I've yet to have a bipartisan meeting that has been organized where Republicans and Democrats in the Senate sit down and work through their problems. Think about just in the Senate, we don't have that type of dialogue going on from Democrats and Republicans. We don't even know our colleagues over in the House.
Don't even know our colleagues over in the House. You know, in the whole fiscal cliff negotiations, we saw that. You know, we're speaking all throughout the lead up to that deal coming down. Members of the House didn't know what's happening over in the Senate, and even as the senator was saying there, senators not knowing what the leadership in the Senate were doing.
Well, so to go to Manu's point, too, when we're going from crisis to crisis, it's important to remember that Congress has created these crises. So this isn't just something that's being sprung upon them. Their inability to negotiate long-term deals before sort of creates these infinite series of budget deadlines. But to the point of the senator, I think that it's not nearly as important that rank-and-file senators know rank-and-file House members. In fact, it's nearly impossible for that to happen, and in the long term, or the long scheme of things, that's not something that's common. But I think trust among the leadership teams of both the House, the Senate, and the White House is very important. And so I think about baseball, right? I'm a pretty big baseball fan, and you think about the Mendoza line, the very base bottom line that batters can hit. And Congress has set the bar so low that maybe we'll be surprised and see it be exceeded this Congress. I mean, there are a lot of bipartisan issues, or issues that they could make into bipartisan issues, whether it's on immigration. You saw a lot of Republican senators especially coming out after the election saying that Congress had to do something about that, or maybe even gun control, though that's going to be a tricky issue as well. Talking about the Mendoza line, a line that continues to get lower and lower, and that has to do with the debt in terms of how much the country owes. Manu, what does it say when the president was being encouraged by Senate Democrats to use the 14th Amendment and go past Congress with a debt ceiling plan? You were writing about that earlier in the week. You said, read to Obama, it's okay to skip Congress on the debt ceiling.
That's right. I mean, that just shows how there's really no way out of this situation at this point. The two sides are arguing completely different things. On the one side, Republicans are saying taxes cannot be considered a part of the equation, and we need to cut spending dollar for dollar for any debt ceiling increase.
Right.
The president's saying revenues must be part of an equation, and he does not want to use the debt ceiling as a bargaining chip. So what do they say? Skip Congress altogether because they can't get it done.
Okay, Manu Raju of Politico and Meredith Shiner of Roll Call. Thank you on this Sunday. Wish we could talk more. Coming up, President Obama may have a new, more comprehensive immigration plan in the works. What will it mean for his second-term agenda? And you may have noticed that you have a little less cash to put in the bank this week. After the break, we'll dig into the reasons why. You're watching MSNBC, the place for politics.